Hello Blood Bowl fans and welcome to Luck of the Dice. We're finally kicking it off and my first match is against the legend himself. I have Guinness first of all. So it's Chaos against Bretonnians, game 1 in Division A for myself. The Labyrinthians are here with their Chaos Dwarfiness. I'd like to play a game and we've got the Minotaur, the 2 Bull Centaurs, 4 Chaos Warriors, 4 Chaos Dwarf Warriors and 4 Hobgoblins. We don't have the Apothecary yet, want to buy him after game 1. So that's my setup with the 2 team roles. I've already gone through it a couple of times, but I want to go through it again so we can have a look team against team. And our opponent, he's finally made the team. He said he didn't go for a traditional setup, but looking at it actually, it looks like a pretty traditional setup. But let's have a look. So, I was expecting more peasants, actually. And bravely run away. Nice. So, we've gone 2 rerolls. 3 blitzers, 4 blockers, and then 6 linemen. Okay, so we got a 13-man roster. We're going to have some fouling in this team, that's for certain, so I'm going to have to get rid of some peasants as quickly as possible when I'm playing them, I think, just to keep my guys alive. Playing against Chaos Dwarfs as his first match with this team, I think is going to be a little bit rough for him, actually, so I like my chances in this game, though he is a fantastic coach, so it's certainly not going to be easy. Either way, with the 3 blitzers, he's going to have problems with the ball, maybe. And Chaos Dwarves are perfect at defending. Well, I think Inducement's going to help him later on, but in this game, he's going to have to play with the piece he has, and I hope I don't damage the team too much, because I know how painful it is playing as Bretonnians. And I know how painful it is starting off against Chaos Dwarfs because I had the same thing in the G-Man. That was a hard game against a coach who was, well, he wasn't playing as well as he could, so that game was tough, and I think I'm a slightly better Chaos Dwarf coach, so it's going to be hard, I think, for Guinness, but let's see how he does. Let's get on to the game. Here we go. Alright then, let's have a look at this game then against Guinness. Luck de la Door, the Bretonnians versus the Labyrinthians, the Chaos Dwarves, played by myself. Let's see if I can actually hold Guinness to at least a draw, being the fantastic coach that he is. To be honest, I wasn't too worried about this game actually, because obviously we're both in the early development of our respective teams, and on paper at least Chaos Dwarves should be winning this game, realistically. So a draw against a fantastic coach seems very likely. A win is even possible if I can play well and the dice go in my favour. So, the Bretonnians are singing Fromage. They look like cheese, can't help it. And the Chaos Dwarves are singing Punch, Punch, Smash, Smash, Tug My Beard, Kiss My... Yeah, you get the idea. I have 2 blue dwarfs, really? That's strange. Shouldn't do, let's check that. Alright then, coin flip. And coin flip goes the way of the Labyrinthians, and we choose to receive. Switching view. Do we really have 2 blue faces? Shouldn't do. No, that was weird. Okay, I'm losing my mind. And this was the last game of the week. And I actually played it a few days ago. I'm a bit behind, but I have been busy, so I only apologize for that a little bit. Life gets in the way sometimes, what can you do? Yeah, just checking the preset defenses, I hated them both, so making my own. Attack, sorry, not defense. Kind of loading the line because Bretonnians are squishy, and he has actually given me 3 blockers to punch. So, I will. Hopefully I can put one out. And kick. Cheering fans gives me an extra reroll because I have that cheerleader. Alright then. We're not going to base him just yet. I mean, Bretonnians don't want to be based, to be honest, but I'm going to let Guinness show his hand before I show mine. We're just going to line up, ready to slow him down, and ready to make a position for ourselves. And blitz for the big guy, because he has plus strength, making it a very solid 2-die. Fantastic start, KO already. And rushed into that one, didn't really look at it hard enough, wasn't wanting a 1-die, but there we go. I could have taken my time a bit more on that, definitely. With block though, it's not the end of the world, and he's kind of forced to wrestle, so it wouldn't be too bad unless I got a skull, of course. And the beast is behaving well so far. Though I would have taken the block with the dwarf as well if necessary. And we pick up the ball. Pretty good first turn. Now Guinness gets to reposition so he can launch an attack next turn. I played Guinness once before. He is an immense lizard coach, but he did say before this match he's never played Bretonnians before, so this is his first time trying out this team. So of course there's going to be a little bit of teething in this first game, or even the first couple of games. Hopefully though he can learn pretty quickly. And Dauntless helps him there, gives him the 2-die where he wouldn't have it otherwise. So he's already seeing how it works, that much is clear. And he has kind of overcommitted to this one side, so I'm going to put some pieces on here, so they have to dodge, roll dice, etc., etc., so they can't get to the ball easily, and the ball's going to go up this way. I'm actually surprised he put them this side, to be honest. It's a very strange defense, but there we go, he's done it, so I'm sure there was something there. So I'm going to use quite a few pieces to lock him up. So he has to roll dice to hit, he has to roll dice to dodge out if he wants to, and I can move the ball relatively securely closer to the front line. I don't mind scoring early, I just want to basically stay 1-up against Guinness throughout the game if possible. And the Bull Centaur's going out there as a potential threat, though I'm not really using him as a threat at all, he's there as a bluff piece at the moment. The other Bull Centaur is going to be there just to keep the Hobgoblin with a friend. I do blitz with the Minotaur because wild animal works better if you're blitzing. Kind of frenzy trap, which isn't so good, and I should have pushed him this way. I don't know why I pushed him this way, that was a mistake. Hobgoblin goes to clean that up. Yeah, I give him a pretty easy 1-die on the Hobgoblin here, to be honest. Pretty poor play there. Pretty easy 2-die as well when I think about it. I really overcommitted the defense. I should have made a flat defense against his attack there. That was poorly done. However, he can only get the 2 pieces there, so those 2 pieces are going to be on their own if he doesn't manage to put the ball down. Even if he does manage to put the ball down, I can always pick it back up. It's GFI there, which is fair enough to get the 2-die, and 2-die is good. Pushes my ball carrying Hobgoblin into danger. That's a 1-die that helps him out. Oh, we're taking a few 1-dice here. Against piece with block. And a half-die for good measure. It's a good roll. Meaning that you can get the wrestler out and maybe even move the wrestler. No, taking 1-die back and wrestle. Okay, Bull Centaur's going to have to come back in support here, and already I've put myself actually mostly in a position of poor pressure play here. I've given Guinness everything he needs to put all the pressure on here. It's pretty bad on my half. So Bull Centaur hits this guy, this one comes back, Goblin goes into the gap. Push is alright, it will do. I do have to risk some GFIs, but with sure feet it's a small risk. And it pays off. Chaos Minotaur doesn't pay off though, and nor does the Hobgoblin. He shouldn't be resting there, and he doesn't, but he takes the armor break. Unfortunate. Now, it's actually quite difficult for Guinness to get pieces safely onto the ball here, though he can get into a very annoying position for me. Though he needs to lock up this Goblin as well, really, because I can use him as a receiver if I'm feeling a bit crazy, which I usually am. And the peasants are going to punch their way out from the Goblins, that's fair enough. And that leaves us with little maneuverability, to be fair. But he's quite happy taking one dice, that much is clear. He needs to be careful though, because eventually they will bite him. Oh, and there's a dodge. First dodge of the match, and it does fail. Probably could have rerolled that, because he's left me somewhere to put the ball, actually. It's not great, but it's good enough. But no, I bring the dwarf blocker back, so we're not putting the ball there after all anyway. Has to wrestle there. This Hobgoblin can lock up these two, and probably blitzing with the Bull Center, and I am, yes. Oh, it's a double skull reroll, that's better. We could potentially, yeah, we are going to. We could potentially put the Bull Center well out of the way. With the Hobgoblin as well, though we're going to try the handoff first. Yeah. That would have been fine if it worked, and the Bull Center got away, of course, but it didn't work, so I probably should have not done that realistically, though I had to move the ball, so there wasn't really a better place to put it. That's a nice block. Dwarf is KO'd. Evens out the pitch. And we're back to taking one dice here. Yeah, a few too many one dice so far. You don't need to take them all. Just the ones that are going to get you to the ball. And I would argue that both of those were unnecessary. Yeah, and he does get punished with the skull. The dwarf one was also unnecessary actually, but of course it paid off well for him in the end anyway, so what can I say? Push isn't really what I want here, but it will do. Because without the push I can move more freely. With the push I'm locked up on the peasant, so the Minotaur isn't moving. No, that's a bad roll. That's a bit better though. We can push the blitzer off and attempt the pickup. Pickup is poor, scatter is worse. Guinness has a chance to take the ball here, if he can use these two pieces wisely. I think the way I'd do it would be blocker locks up the ball. Okay. I can see it, blocker would lock up the ball here. Blitzer comes in, uses his Dauntless, and this piece comes dodging out, taking the ball. But we're doing it this way instead. This way works as well, though the problem with this way is that I've still got the Bull Center on the ball. And IAC actually, it would be GFIs here, so that's fair enough. It's fairly good play from Guinness actually. His option was better, but this isn't really good enough to stop the ball. That is though, so well done. Well done in the end. And we're back to taking one dice. We've got a 2-die there, so that's better. We've got a free peasant that's probably going to come in support down here as well. He's going to be the sacrifice for the Bull Centaur, fair enough. Hobgoblin's going to come around and support. And this dwarf as well, though most of my pieces are out of position here. Need this piece down so the Hobgoblin can move. Oh no, it wouldn't make a difference to the peasant. Never mind. Do some damage to the block hopefully. And stun is not really good enough, but it will do. And the Minotaur's moved into a safer position. So basically support for next turn. And Bull Centaur gets rid of the threat, so he still has to blitz the Bull Centaur. He can't get a free shot at him. Just try and do a bit of damage at the end. A bit of damage I do. It's an injury. Peasant goes bye-bye. First blood. And last Hobgoblin is going to come through. Yeah, that was a mistake, I think. I missed the dodge. I missed it even when I was watching the replay. Yeah. He went exactly where I wanted to put him, but I forgot about the dodge completely, so that was just bad planning, basically, on my part. But it paid off, so what can I say? And 2 down is fine for him. I'm not sure about the 1 die on the... yeah. It's probably his best play, to be fair, though he doesn't necessarily need to go for the ball. And he doesn't go for the ball, so fair enough. The only thing he can really do now is dodge out the peasant. Though knocking out the Hobgoblin definitely helps him. This is all in my drive as well, so he's doing this. He's stopping me from scoring very well here. In fact, I have to do something this turn if I want to score. And that ends that story. Should have moved him first. I think he was my blitz option, but still, I should have moved him first. That's fair enough. Pretty straightforward play now. Pick up the ball and, well, immediately score actually. Or pick up the ball, hand off and immediately score. No, we're going for an unnecessary surf instead. Backfires, big style. Yeah, that was your 1-0 moment, Guinness, and yeah, greed got the better of you then, I'm afraid. So that means that we're likely going 0-0 in this half, because I can now put him into a precarious position where it's difficult for him to do anything with the ball. I'm not going to pick up the ball myself. Wild animal at a bad time, but these two are still locked up, so not such a big deal. Not going to take this dice because I don't want the ball moving from where it is. I just want to stop anything from moving to retrieve the ball. That's good enough. Block is good enough because this piece has block. That's a dodge back now. Yeah. Unfortunately, that roll doesn't work, and I'm not sure actually how I want to pick up the ball then. Sometimes all you have is a bad idea though, so you've got to take it. So we end 0-0, and I think a half that was definitely mostly better played by Guinness, mostly. Though he made a lot of mistakes himself, so I don't know. I put that first half down to teething problems on both teams. I'm not very used to playing Chaos Dwarfs either, so yeah. I've had more than one game though. So now it's my defense, where I feel a bit more comfortable as Chaos Dwarfs actually, because it's kind of what they do. And I'm going to load the line with Hobgoblins, because basically they are of less value to me. Even though they are essentially the piece to pick up the ball. At the same time, if I lose them, I've still got the defensive edge, whereas if I'm losing dwarfs or if I'm losing a bigger piece, I'm in a bit of trouble. And the Minotaur is back as a counter-attack. A lot of people think I'm being a wuss by leaving the Minotaur here, but it means that he can go into a position where I need him most, if he's not on the line. If he's on the line, he's stuck on the line. He's not going anywhere. And we have a pretty loaded line from Guinness here, so if there's a blitz, I can counteract this. But anything else is pretty much on his side. Right, yeah, right doesn't really affect either of us. All it does is make it less likely to go to 1-0. Yeah, touchback was really bad for me, though. There was no one for him to give the ball to that made any sense. So he's had to put the ball on the line, which is obviously dangerous. Maybe he would have been better off giving it to a blocker. However, he can simply block his way out, or actually hit me with the ball carrier. Okay, make a cage. I see what he did there. That's fair. But no, the problem with loading the line is basically you've got all your pieces stuck in this one place. And he's managed to cage up, which is great. Though, to be honest with Chaos Dwarfs, it's pretty easy to break a cage and get onto the ball carrier in a way that you really don't want Chaos Warriors to be on you. Chaos Dwarf Warriors, sorry. And we do take an armor break with the Hobgoblin. I'll happily take that though. And it would have been a dwarf if it wasn't a Hobgoblin. Right. 2 Hobgoblins are going to stand up, and I'm going to break into this cage, probably with the Bull Centaur. But the dwarves are going to lock up the side first. Of course, Guinness can just dodge out and go this way. I hope I'm smart enough to leave at least one of the 2 big pieces. Oh, actually, do it with the Minotaur, fair enough. Not really fair enough though, because of course this piece has Fend, so Minotaur is stuck now. That was pretty poor, actually. And this piece needs to stay back. I sent him the wrong way. Why did I do that? Well, I did that to put even more pressure on the ball, but yeah, if Guinness gets out, I'm in trouble. Everything's out of position now. I should have left the Bull Centaur here. +3 agility piece with dodge is probably getting out of this without any real issue. So, just really bad play on my part, to be honest here. And he has locked up 2 Bull Centaurs. He's going to make the dodge even easier. It's not even a thing anymore. Yep, doesn't even need to dodge now. Could hand off, and ball is gone. That's exactly what he does. That's what I'd do too. Well, something's got to go horribly wrong to not go 1-0 here. The only thing I can really do is put the Minotaur on him, I think. I think the Minotaur can get that. Maybe not now. Okay, it was good for me though. And the Hobgoblin can get there probably as well, actually. He needs to 2 GFI to do it though, I think. And he does. The Minotaur's probably going to go that direction too. Take a block first, okay. Didn't need to do that really. Dwarf is going to go in support. Oh no, Dwarf is going to go into the fight. Minotaur's got to go in support though. Yeah, okay, we're blitzing that piece, I see. Just basically stopping him from having a chance of knocking down the Hobgoblin easily. He's got to take a 1 die to do it, especially with the KO. Though even if he was downed, he still would have to roll dice to get that. He's got a reroll, so it should be pretty easy. Just blitz out and gone. End of turn. Oh, but no, he's wasted his reroll. Oh no, he hasn't rerolled, okay. But he is wasting dice here. now. Blitz out. No. Okay, now you've got it blitz out. There we go. Skull, got a reroll. And it fails. That's unlucky. I would certainly argue that he should have done that first, but still, that was unlucky. And if the ball was going to go anywhere, it may as well go into the hands of a peasant right next to the Minotaur. I mean, it's the worst place for the peasant to be, but yeah, fun times. Peasant gets the ball. Now, I can lock that up pretty easily, though, and I can make a mess of that, actually. That's probably what I'm going to do. Minotaur can put him down, I can pick up the ball. No, I've already used the ball carrier. Smoko sent me a message here when I knocked down the ball saying pick up with the Minotaur, but that would have been that would have been pushing it a bit too far. So I didn't want to push my luck. I left the Minotaur on the ball instead. And this Hobgoblin can pick up in theory. Doesn't have to. Fair enough. And the ball center can come around here now. So we're just making sure the ball is ours next turn. It's one thing Guinness does well, actually, as well as some other coaches we have here. He doesn't automatically pick up the ball. Sometimes picking up the ball is the worst thing you can do. So even if you can pick up the ball, doesn't mean you necessarily should. And I think this was a case of this as well, because I had nowhere to put the ball. And as you can see, Guinness is still trying to lock up the ball here. And he's not giving me a free block, which is good. Let's put the other ball center down. Putting the peasant in the way. And another skull. That's unfortunate. I'd like to say that he's been very unlucky, but he's rolling way too many one-dice blocks. So it's partly that he's unlucky, and it's partly that it's coming back to bite him. If you watch the difference between the way we're rolling, I'm rolling a lot less risky dice than he is this match. So if we blitz out the peasant onto the Minotaur, reroll, onto the Minotaur. No, why not onto the Minotaur? Should have blitzed him onto the Minotaur. Minotaur knocks him down, Hobgoblin goes that way. But made a mistake there, again. Minotaur again is well behaved though. I've been frenzying with him a lot, but he has been rolling less wild animal than he should probably. And I have gone potato where he can actually get two pieces onto the ball, no, one piece, sorry. Just this piece onto the ball. And again, he's rolling dice he doesn't have to roll before doing the essential thing. And that's another skull. That one was unlucky. He's had a few too many skulls this half, that's for certain. Means I can get the ball out of the way. And he needs to take quite a lot of risk to get the ball off me now. Especially if I can put these two pieces down. In fact, if I can do that, I think he can't get to me. Well, peasant number one goes down. The dwarf should be going here. He is, but he should be here realistically. And that's a wild animal that I didn't need. I'm not rerolling it though. Let that go. Don't need to do anything else, so I let the turn go. Now, his only option is the peasant. And probably dodging, I don't know actually, I don't think there is a good option here, but probably dodging GFI one dice is the best thing for him to do. It's the only thing for him to do, to be honest. And again though, he's taking dice he really doesn't have to be taking down here. There we go, there's the dodge. GFI, success, success, and a POW. Well, if the ball goes off the pitch, then he's laughing. It doesn't, but it's still difficult for me to get there. I need the Minotaur to work one more time, I think. Pretty sure the Minotaur can get there. No, not going to do it that way. Then what way am I going to do it? One die out with the... That's an unfortunate KO for me. I needed the armor break to go the other way, really. The armor break going that way for me is going to end this game 0-0. I don't actually think he can score. No, he can't. So we're going to end 0-0 off the back of that 2 down. If the armor didn't break, there was a chance I was scoring, but with the armor broken, that's it. Game over. His last blitz fails, which gives me a slight chance. Maybe the Minotaur can do it, actually. I don't think he can quite get there, though. Let's have a look. Of course, the Minotaur is not a good option, and it's not even an option, so fine. We don't even need to bother trying. We're just going to try and do some damage to get some SPP at the end, then. And I think the last block is going to be with this Hobgoblin, unless we blitz with the... No, we're blitzing with the Minotaur first. Fair enough. Now we take one more block with the Hobgoblin, then we're done. I don't think we're taking the 1 die. Then again, against a non-block piece, we may be taking the 1 die. Well, that's it anyway. Hobgoblin goes down, and game over. Pretty boring game, really, to be honest. Nothing particularly interesting happened. I think that the better plays were definitely done by Guinness in that game. Though at the same time, I think the bigger mistakes were made by Guinness as well. So, all in all, I think it's a pretty fair result, to be honest. I was just boring on my side, I think, and I need to work on that for next game. I may try and get a practice game or 2 in with Chaos Dwarves before next week. Though we'll see what happens. So, having a look at the end result then, we got 4 armor breaks, and we got the Blitzer with 5 SPP MVP, and Chaos Dwarf got MVP on my side. There was only 1 injury all game, so it's a 2 SPP match. 10 armor breaks from the Labyrinthians, and as I said, the 2 SPP on the Hobgoblin. So that does nothing for my team, and for some reason my game isn't actually working, so I can't show you the team itself off the back of this. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have got this far, I know I haven't been particularly entertaining this time. If you saw the live game, you probably know why, but I don't want you guys, and I don't want you guys to talk about it, and I don't want to talk about it. Just let it go, okay? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all soon, pitchside or in Discord. Bye for now.